Terence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason.
No, it's business, it's the office. I enjoy it because this is what I love to do.
Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skill fighter.
I understand, Canelo is bigger than me and whatnot, but I'm up for it.
Canelo Alvarez has reacted to Terence Crawford's latest training footage as Crawford intensifies preparations for their potential showdown. Crawford's regimen includes strength-building exercises like weightlifting and resistance training to enhance power and stamina. Additionally,
he can't look forward past Saturday, but do you feel like a fight like Terence Crawford? I see he wants to fight, he's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better, Terence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes.
He's homing his punching precision with mitt work and heavy bag drills to boost speed and accuracy. Crawford's focused training signals his determination to compete against Canelo, setting the stage for a highly anticipated clash. Arab Sheikh Turkey, a devoted boxing enthusiast, has committed to organizing several world-class fights by 2025. Among the most highly anticipated matchups is the potential clash between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, tentatively set for September. According to the two fighters met privately in London last week to discuss terms for their highly anticipated bout.
Tired of people asking you about Terence yet?
No, look, I always say, I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very talented fighter, but he just win one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one.
Suggests that negotiations are progressing, with the fight being targeted for Mexico's Independence Day weekend in mid-September. Boxing expert Mike Coppinger revealed, "From what I hear, they're close to finalizing a deal for a September fight during Mexican Independence Day weekend in Las Vegas, with a 168 pounds weight limit and no rehydration clause." However, the weight disparity between the fighters remains a significant challenge. Crawford, who has dominated at 147 lbs.
Good fighter, like Errol Spence is.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with the Spence. He did almost look it very easy. But I knew Terence Crawford is a great fighter. But you never know.
Would need to gain 14 pounds to meet Canelo at super middleweight. This would mark a considerable leap for Crawford, only recently claimed a world title at 154 lbs after defeating Israel Madrimov. Canelo Alvarez, on the other hand, is no stranger to weight class jumps. Over his career,
It's fine.
That being a biggest fight possible in boxing, is that something you'd actually be interested in?
It's crazy when you asking about that, because you say, your matchup is coming out with other weight classes and that's it, and he's welterweight, so don't make sense. But if the fight made sense, why not?
A lot of people have him at #1 pound for pound. You think that's fair to you?
It's
he has climbed divisions from super welterweight, where he won the WBC title, to middleweight, where he became unified champion. He even briefly ventured into light heavyweight, defeating Sergey Kovalev for the IBF title, before returning to super middleweight, where he became the first undisputed 4-belt champion. Despite his impressive resume, Canelo has expressed caution about Crawford's move to 168 lbs. There are weight classes for a reason, Canelo remarked, emphasizing that Crawford's peak performances have been at lower weight classes, particularly 147 lbs. The size and power disparity could significantly impact Crawford's ability to compete at Canelo's level. This potential fight encapsulates a critical principle in boxing.
We're here to make the best deals and always a chance.
And I do have to ask you about Dimitri Bivol, because that's a rematch you've always talked about wanting. How do you see the rematch going with Bivol and Beterbiev?
I think it's going to be another good fight. It's going to be another good fight. Both fighters are good fighters, so I think both have a chance to win. Like the first one was a really good fight.
So whatever is next, we look forward to it, my friend. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Weight divisions exist to ensure fairness and protect fighters. While Crawford's exceptional skills are undeniable, stepping into Canelo's weight class would present an immense challenge. Should the fight materialize, it will undoubtedly be a historic showdown, testing the limits of both fighters' abilities and adding another chapter to boxing's storied legacy. Saul Canelo Alvarez, one of the most accomplished boxers of the modern era, has never been one to shy away from speaking his mind. In a recent interview, Canelo called out Terence Crawford, criticizing his record and questioning the quality of opponents the undefeated welterweight champion has faced throughout his career. With talks of a potential mega fight between the two looming, Canelo's remarks have stirred controversy and added fuel to what could become one of boxing's most significant rivalries. Canelo pointedly stated, Crawford's entire 17-year career is built on clever matchmaking and a padded record. He hasn't faced top-tier competition or light-level opponents consistently. The Mexican superstar claimed that while Crawford has undeniable talent, his resume lacks the type of marquee wins that define a true pound-for-pound great. One of the focal points of Canelo's critique was Crawford's most notable victory, his recent TKO win over Errol Spence Jr. While many hailed Crawford's dominant performance as a career-defining moment, Canelo had a different take. He argued that Spence, although a formidable name, was not at his peak when he faced Crawford. His best win was against a drained and damaged version of Spence, Canelo remarked. He pointed to the aftermath of Spence's near-fatal car accident in 2019 and his subsequent health challenges, implying that Spence wasn't the same fighter he was before the crash. The Spence Crawford fought wasn't the real Spence.
And what did you speak about?
Look, I like to work with everybody. You know, I'm a free agent and I like to work with everybody. And you know, I like to have the doors open.
Are we going to see Canelo Crawford next?
We'll see. It's a possibility there always. No, we'll see what happens.
Have you spoke with Turkey about that show?
Yeah,
about Canelo?
We know each other. We don't talk that much for make a deal and anything, but you know, we now know each other and we'll see what happens.
Last one, I know you're pushed for time. Benavidez Morel, who wins?
It's gonna be a good.
He wasn't at his best physically or mentally, so while it was a good win, it's not the kind of victory that justifies the level of hype Crawford gets. Canelo went further, dissecting Crawford's career and questioning the caliber of opposition he has faced over the years. Other than Spence, no one on Crawford's record stands out to justify the hype he gets, he said. Canelo emphasized that Crawford's resume is filled with solid fighters but lacks the elite, A-level opponents that would solidify his legacy. For context, Crawford's notable wins include victories over Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and Amir Khan. While these are respected names, Canelo argued that many of these fighters were either past their prime or not at their peak when they faced Crawford. He's talented, but let's be honest, he's the product of clever matchmaking in today's era. They've built him up by picking opponents he could beat convincingly, but he's only won one truly big fight, Canelo said. Canelo also drew attention to the stark contrast between his career and Crawford's, particularly in terms of competition. Over the years, Canelo has faced some of the best fighters across multiple weight divisions, including Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, Daniel Jacobs, and Caleb Plant, to name a few. He has consistently sought challenges, moving up in weight classes and taking on bigger, stronger opponents. In comparison, Canelo believes Crawford has remained in his comfort zone, dominating the welterweight division but not stepping up to face fighters outside his weight class until recently. I've been fighting the best in the world, moving up and taking risks. Crawford has stayed in one division for most of his career, fighting guys who were good but not great, Canelo said. Canelo also addressed the challenge Crawford would face moving up to the super middleweight division. Crawford, who has spent most of his career fighting at 135 Obs, 140 Obs, and 147 Obs, would need to jump up to 168 Obs to face Canelo. That's a significant leap, and Canelo believes it could expose Crawford's limitations. Weight classes exist for a reason, Canelo said. Crawford is skilled, but skills can only take you so far when you're fighting someone bigger, stronger, and just as experienced. At 168 lbs, he'll be out of his element. Canelo's comments also reflect a larger narrative about legacy in boxing. With over 60 professional fights and world titles across 4 weight classes, Canelo's resume is one of the most decorated in the sport's history. He has taken on and defeated some of the biggest names in boxing, solidifying his place as a pound-for-pound great. Crawford, on the other hand, is still building his legacy. While he is regarded as one of the most skilled boxers of his generation, his lack of high-profile wins against elite competition has been a point of contention. A victory over Canelo would undoubtedly elevate Crawford's career to new heights, but as Canelo pointed out, the jump in weight and the difference in experience at the highest level could make it an uphill battle. Canelo's remarks have sparked a heated debate among boxing fans and analysts. Supporters of Crawford argue that his skill set and dominance in the ring speak for themselves, regardless of the quality of his opposition. They point to his unbeaten record and his ability to finish fights as evidence of his greatness. Critics, however, agree with Canelo's assessment, arguing that Crawford has yet to face a truly elite fighter in their prime. They believe that while Crawford's talent is undeniable, he needs a win over someone like Canelo to cement his legacy. As the boxing world waits for confirmation of a potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, the war of words is already adding to the anticipation. Canelo's criticism of Crawford's record not only sets the stage for a fascinating clash of styles, but also highlights the stakes involved. For Canelo, it's an opportunity to further cement his legacy by defeating another pound-for-pound great. For Crawford, it's a chance to silence his critics and prove that he belongs among the sport's all-time greats. One thing is certain, if this fight happens, it will be one of the most talked-about events in boxing history, with both fighters putting their reputations on the line in a battle for supremacy.